Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di and today I'm sharing with you my end of the month reading reflections for the month of December 2022. So these videos are basically videos where I tell you some soft stats about the reading that I had done in the month, and then I let you know what my highest and lowest rated reads of the month are, and typically I give you reviews of those, but this month and going forward, it's going to be different. 2023 is all about making things a lot easier for me. And so I am no longer going to be giving reviews of my highest and lowest rated reads of the month. I will tell you what those are though. And then if you're interested to know about my thoughts on anything that I read during the month, you can always check out my Desis 19 Diaries videos. I'll link the ones that have book reviews in them, or I wouldn't say reviews, but my thoughts on the things that I had read during the month down in the description box below. In the description box of those videos, you will see a list of the titles that I'm sharing my thoughts on. So if you're only interested in certain ones, you can just click the description box of those videos and find the ones that you're looking for. Typically, my thoughts are at the beginning of my Desis 19 Diaries videos, but during the month of December, I was also doing Vlogmas, and so the reviews are closer to the end. So if you're not interested in seeing my Yarn Advent Calendar openings or me doing most of the Exit the Game Advent Calendar game, which we were doing in the month of December, you can just fast forward to the end where you see my face, and that is where the reviews are. So in December, I did my Manga Advent Calendar Project. So in that project, I had asked my daughter to set aside 24 volumes of manga for me to read during the month of December. And then every other day, I would open up a present of 2 mangas. So all of the manga that I read were manga that I actually owned, so that was great as well. I did complete every single volume of manga that my daughter had set aside for me, plus the Monochrome Manga Club selections. The Monochrome Manga Club is a in real life manga club that I host at a local Barnes & Noble. And so if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on those, there is a separate video where I do first impressions for those videos, which I'll also link down in the description box below. So let me just tell you all of the titles that I have read in the month of December to start off with. So in no particular order, I read volumes 2 and 3 of Night of the Ice by Yayoi Ogawa. These are published by Kodansha, rated older teen. I read volumes 1 and 2 of Idle Dreams by Arina Tanemura. This one's published by Viz, rated teen. I read volumes 2 and 3 of Laughing Under the Clouds by Karakara Kemuri. This one's published by Tokyo Pop, rated teen. I read volumes 2 and 3 of Servant by Strike Tanaka. This one's published by 7 Seas, rated teen. I read volumes 1 and 2 of Imakoi, Now I'm in Love, Story and Art by Ayuko Hata, published by Viz, rated teen. I read volumes 1 and 2 of The Royal Tutor. This is by Higasa Akai, published By Yen Press, rated teen. I read volumes 1 and 2 of Persona 3. And this one is by Shuji Sogabe and Atlas, published by Udon Entertainment. And Udon doesn't put age ratings, but I would have to say this is probably older teen, just based on some of the things and themes that are in Persona. For the Monochrome Manga Club, I read volume 1 of The Geek X Hitman by Kodai. This is published by Yen Press, rated teen. Also for the Monochrome Manga Club, I read volume 1 of Villains Are Destined to Die by Suo. Original story by Guan Gyo-ul. This one's published by Issei Press, rated teen. I read volumes 1 and 2 of Yakuza Lover. This is by Nozomi Mino, published by Viz, rated mature. I read volume 1 of Ladies on Top. This is by Neji Ganameta, published by Steamship, rated older teen. And this one is actually 17 plus instead of 16 plus. For the Monochrome Manga Club, I read volume 9 of the Eternal Edition of Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon. This is by Naoko Takeuchi, published by Kodansha, rated teen. Also for the Monochrome Manga Club, I read volumes 11 and 12 of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. This is by Koyoharu Gotoge, published by Viz, rated teen. I read volumes 2 and 3 of Cat Massage Therapy. This one is by Haru Hisakawa, published by 7 Seas, rated ages 10 plus. I read volumes 1 and 2, which is the entirety of the series, of Dear Nomen by Neji. This is published by Yen Press, rated teen. I read volume 1 of Game Between the Suits, story and art by Maya Nishikata, published by Steamship, rated older teen again. This is 17 plus. And I read volumes 2 and 3 of the case study of Vanitas by Jun Mochizuki, published by Yen Press, rated older teen. So that is everything that I had read during the month. Quite a bit of manga. But what I also need to tell you is that I did read one novel. I read Apple Cider Slaying, which is the first book in the Cider Shop Mystery series by Julie Ann Lindsay. I didn't actually wrap that up in the Deezus 19 Diaries, so I will tell you my thoughts on that in this video. But first, let's get to some soft stats. So in the month of December, I read 30 things, which is awesome. That's quite a bit. That is way up from November, which I only read 11 things. That also has to do with the fact, though, that I was doing my Manga Advent Calendar, though, so that really helped pump up the number of things that I was reading. Total number of pages read was 5,841, which again is up from 2,788. I read 29 volumes of manga, which is up from 6, and 1 novel, which is down from 5. So of those, I read 1 thing from the library and 29 owned things. As far as star rating goes, I had 4 5-star reads, 18 4-star reads, 3 3.5-star reads, and 5 3-star reads. So let me share with you what my lowest rated reads were and my highest rated reads were, and then we'll get to my review of Apple Cider Slaying. So my 3-star reads were Volume 1 of Dear Nomen, Volume 1 of Game Between the Suits, Volumes 2 and 3 of the case study of Vanitas, and Volume 9 of Sailor Moon in the Eternal Edition. So that's quite a few more 3-star reads than I normally have. However, I was reading quite a bit more in the month of December. So, you know, when you read more, there's always a chance to have more lowest rated reads of the month, right? Highest rated reads of the month. 5 stars for Cat Massage Therapy, Volumes 2 and 3. Pure enjoyment, pure enjoyment. And then 5 stars for Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, 11 and 12. I've been really enjoying this series. So like I said, if you want to hear my thoughts on any of these volumes, I will link my Deezus 19 Diaries down in the description box below. Check out the description box to see what I'm talking about in each video. So in case you're interested in only certain titles, you can know which videos to watch. And then also down in the description box below is the Monochrome Manga Club series First Impressions video, which will talk about Villains Are Destined to Die as well as the Geek X Hitman. So as far as my reading in 2022 goes, I ended up with 195 things read in the year, which is really good. It's a really good number. I will be honest and tell you that towards the end of the year, I fell off the saddle on keeping my spreadsheet updated with what I was reading. So I'm doing that currently. So I do not have end of the year stats for you. I'll probably have a separate video coming out sometime this month with those stats once I'm done putting in everything to my spreadsheet, and let you know how overall I did in 2022. But I do not have those stats for you here. And so, yeah, I think I did really, really well. Just in general, as far as my reading goes, I feel excellent about my reading in the month of December, and I really enjoyed most everything that I read in December as well. So I think there's nothing left to do but talk to you about the last novel that I read in 2022, which was Apple Cider Slang by Julianne Lindsay. This is a book that I have had on my radar for a while. In fact, it was going to be the last read of the Book One Cozies Club, but we had decided on a different title instead. Book One Cozies Club was a first in a series cozy mystery book club that I had run for several years, and I just stopped doing that at the end of 2021. So 2022 was the first year that I did not run the Book One Cozies Club. And so, yeah, I didn't want to finish the year or the festive season without reading a festive book. And so I happily picked up Apple Cider Slang. It was available for me to read on Kindle Unlimited, but I went the audiobook route and borrowed a copy from my library. And I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. It was a while since I've actually read a cozy mystery. I've taken some time off because I felt like for a while I was pretty much predominantly reading cozies, and I wanted to, branch out and check out some other genres and things. And so it was nice to step back into a comfortable place. So Apple Cider Slang follows a woman who is working in apple orchards. So her family owns an apple orchard. She's helping out her grandma. Her grandfather passed away, and so it's just her grandma and her working this apple orchard. And she wants to start selling apple cider as like a separate business from the apple orchard. And she wants to open a storefront to sell these ciders. And so she's in the process of trying to get a bank loan. And so there is a loan officer out on the property, and, she's doing the taste test with him to have him sample the product. And she's showing him around the property, telling him exactly what she wants to do, where things will be, where production will be done when they stumble upon a dead body. And so immediately her grandmother comes under suspicion as a suspect, because her grandmother and this person who was found on the property deceased do not have a great history. And so new sheriff in town doesn't know anybody, gets very suspicious of the grandmother. And so our main character takes it upon herself to start investigating to try to clear her grandmother's name. Like I said, I really, really enjoyed this one. I will have to say that at the beginning of the story, I did find our main character a bit irritating. She was grating on my nerves with just how she was handling things, the tone of voice that was used to narrate her, and how the lines were narrated kind of didn't jive with me at the time. I was getting quite irritated, but I wanted to stick it out because, beginning of a series, you never quite know how things are going to end up, or, different situations. Obviously, at the beginning of this book, there's a lot of high stress because her grandmother is under suspicion. Then she becomes under suspicion. And she doesn't get along with the sheriff, and the sheriff is just being a jerk. And just everything was getting on my nerves. And so I was only listening to it on audiobook about an hour a day, because that's my usual ritual. I'll take my lunch break from work, and that's when I'll listen to my audiobook and I'll play a video game at the same time, just to kind of de-stress from work. And so I was doing that, and I was like passively kind of listening when she was getting on my nerves. I will have to say about halfway into the book, my perspective changed on these characters. I started to really become invested in the family aspect. Her and her relationship with her grandmother really came through. She talks about her grandfather and how the loss of her grandfather is still fresh for her, and that's something very personal for me. It's something that I could relate to because I myself had a really close relationship to my grandfather, and I still feel his loss very heavily on a daily basis. It still kind of makes me tear up, as you can see. But that kind of thing that's being narrated really helped me to connect with this character, and things, that she would see around the apple orchard, whether it be his car or, places on the property where she remembered spending time with him. I could really relate to those types of things. And her tone of voice also seemed to change throughout the book, which was beneficial for me. It really helped me to get more behind her and her investigating style. I will say that I'm not a big fan of her investigative style. It's kind of clunky, not very smart, if I was to use a descriptor, but I still related to her a lot more towards the middle and end of the book. I also warmed up a lot to the sheriff, who I thought was the biggest jerk ever at the beginning of the book. A typical cozy mystery theme is that your female amateur sleuth is going to become romantically involved with the person who is investigating. And I could not see anything like that happening with how their back and forths were going with each other. And I just did not like either of them. But I will have to say that by the middle, towards the end of the book, I could really get behind these two possibly getting together, which makes me want to read the next one. In fact, I almost jumped into the next one immediately, but I decided not to because I do not think that the next one is winter related. And so I thought maybe, reading it in the season that it is set in would be a better option for me. So I think I'm definitely going to do that. And yeah, I'm definitely going to continue with this series. I really, really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed being back in the cozy mystery realm. So I ended up giving that one 4 stars. Would definitely recommend it. And like I said, it's available on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have a subscription, definitely go check it out. So that pretty much wraps up this video. Let me know down in the comments below how you ended up your year in 2022. How many books did you end up reading, or manga if that is your primary interest? Let me know what your highest and lowest rated reads of the month were. I'd really love to know. If nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me is there a narwhal emoji down in the comments below? Or some kind of sea creature emoji, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye!